My name is Bess Darrow. I'm an equine veterinarian and equine dentist in Ocala, Florida. This is my horse, Stewart. He is a coming 8-year-old Connemara warm blood gelding, and he has been in my life since before he was born. So I raised this guy, and he got all the care that you would think a proper veterinarian would give him, but he had a catastrophic episode of laminitis this time last year, and he wasn't supposed to survive. So we ended up going to Epic, where he had an amazing experience and amazing recovery, and I want to tell you that story. It was experiencing a last-minute growth spurt. I believe they usually are done growing by this time, but when he was 6.5 to 7, he grew a couple inches longer and at least 1 inch taller. Along with that, he started to gain a lot of weight, and I didn't think anything of it except that he was a growing boy. But when I was riding him, when I go around the corners, I would just feel a little bit of lameness, and I quickly disregarded that because it was a drought outside, the ground was hard, my arena was hard, and I didn't think anything of it. But I couldn't stop wondering why he was gaining so much weight. So when I tested his insulin levels, they were sky high. And I started to do something about it pretty quickly. I put him on medication and I monitored his diet and I put him on a diet, but he just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Then one day I came out to the farm and he was excruciatingly painful and lame in both fronts. We also consequently had a new driveway put in, and they took all the lime rock from the driveway and put it behind my barn. That was not something I was expecting. So Stuart was running over that gravel many times a day. And I just dismissed it again as he must have a stone bruise and he must be severely bruised. And I was going to plan on soaking his feet for taking care of an abscess or something. But he got progressively more and more lame over 3 days. So I had a colleague out to take radiographs. And imagine my surprise when instead of saying that he had a terrible abscess, he told me that he had a catastrophic bout of laminitis and that we probably should just put him down because it was so terrible that he wouldn't live through it. They've seen a lot of cases like his. He had rotated and the bones were sinking through the bottom of his feet. And in their experience, horses just don't have a vital outcome with that. They just can't survive it. If they can't grow a hoof, they cannot support the bones in their hooves and their legs, and they just can't survive. They can't make it. It was just devastating. I've never been more heartbroken in my life that my baby that I raised and took such good care of would have such a terrible, terrible thing. So I had gone to my own chiropractor that day, and I had been going through some hyperbaric oxygen treatments myself for a condition that I developed several years ago. I had really good outcome with that therapy for my own body. So my chiropractor said to me, listen, you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. Take your horse to a hyperbaric chamber. You've got to do this. Just trust me on this. He said, when we have diabetic patients who are about to lose limbs, humans who have wounds that won't heal, other diseases where the circulation is poor, they put them in the chamber and it's very, very helpful. So with laminitis, you have a problem in the feet and in the body where the circulation is not going to the hooves, and they're losing all the blood supply to the bottom of the foot, and then they can't support their own weight. So I didn't think twice about it. I was not in my thought process to put him down, and I put him on the trailer and I took him to Epic and said, please, let's try this. Let's try this as much as we can, whatever we have to do to try to save this horse. And in 30 days of hyperbaric, 5 days a week, he walked out of the clinic in hoof boots and could get on a trailer and come home. So it was a long, long process after that. That was just the very beginning. But after a year, he's grown a completely new hoof. His bones are in the correct anatomical alignment. He is sound, and he just went back to riding exactly 1 year later. But the whole team at Epic made it worthwhile. When I would walk in the mornings, they would just greet him with a resounding Stewart, Stewart, and I would be playing games with him or ball, or he's clicker trained, so we would be doing tricks, anything that I could engage his mind, and everybody would come by and smile or pet him, and they really seemed to have quite an affection for all the animals there. Every single day of the week, he was getting many different treatments, and he was just a trooper. But I think part of that was just because the handling was so excellent, and they just treated him with respect and dignity. And even though it was hard and painful for him to have to go through some of the treatments, they just made it possible for him to have a very good experience. So I am forever thankful for everybody's care there. It was an extraordinary time, and we made it through. And I don't think that we would have made it through without everybody's help at Epic.